Hey everyone out there in YouTube land, this is Annette Dion, the host of the Psychic News Network, coming at you on Tuesday, September 7th. I hope you had a great long weekend. I was going to do a video yesterday, but I got really busy working on Labor Day. Said I was going to. So yeah, it's a beautiful day in New England, not a cloud in the sky. Going out on a boat later, I'm excited. Kind of got a late start on my summer activities, but at least I'm getting in one boat ride. I hope you are doing well, and I have a bunch of things on my mind to talk about, news-wise, and I'm just going to go through whatever kind of pops into my head. So the first thing that's popping into my head is Afghanistan, what's going on there. I want to kind of make clear to everybody out there that I am anti-war. I don't think that war is the answer. I don't think that we should have ever been in Afghanistan. That will go down as a worse mistake than Vietnam in the history books of America. I have a lot of compassion and respect, and I mean, like, I'm a little over the top with my empathy with veterans and my respect for what they do and their courage and their bravery, and how we would not be where we are today without the courage of our military men and women. So if you or your family are military, thank you for your service, and I mean that from the bottom of my heart. Somebody made a comment that I don't care about. I'm not going to say it verbatim, but it's just absolutely the furthest thing from the truth that I don't support the military. Somebody alluded to that. So what I want to say is, when I was reading on Afghanistan, I saw, even though when I first heard that the troops are going to be pulled out, I was horrified because I saw the chaos that would ensue. But psychically, what I'm picking up is, if it hadn't been done when it was done, it would have just escalated and just gotten worse and worse and worse. And there was no end. Like they called it, the never-ending war. There was no end. And there was no graceful way to end it. The ending, unfortunately, was going to result in deaths no matter when or how it was done. That was my psychic take. And there's going to be a lot coming down the pike, including what 45 did to screw this up, one of which is the horrible, horrible situation of the Afghan interpreters that helped the United States soldiers in many cases to stay alive through interpreting and just helping. You know, the last administration made it more complicated to get those people out of Afghanistan. Stephen Miller. If you want to know more about that, just go to your news stories if you hadn't heard about that. And so one deal that 45 made involved letting 5,000 Taliban members escape from prison. So I don't want to go on about that too much, but I just do want to go to what's going to happen in Afghanistan in the coming, well, we'll just say in the coming week. It's a heavy topic. It's a very, very heavy topic. It's a lot of things America has done that we should not be proud of, but we did our best in terms of, you know, giving Afghanistan a shot at democracy. I don't see the Taliban holding on to power for too long. Oh, for this week yet, but for too long. Let's see. Dear guides, show us what we need to know about the situation in Afghanistan. There's some nefarious activity, and this looks like Russia. This is, the women are going to be under siege. We need to pray. And the hangman is, this isn't going to happen this week, but I do feel the Taliban succumbing to pressure. I don't want to get into too many details about that because it can start to look very dark, and I don't want to worry you, but the Taliban is going to lose their power because of some kind of a force that's going to kind of overtake them. So as the week goes on, I'll warm up a little bit more to going into that topic, but I do see certain other countries with a lot of military means going into Afghanistan and working on taking over the Taliban. That's what I see. And we'll get into that a little bit more a little bit later. The hangman that's the surrender card. That's not all going to happen this week. Remember, I keep on saying I see the rest of the world. I see our allies stepping in Afghanistan. So I wouldn't be surprised if more battles happen. And I think we're going to see some of that this week. So it's Tuesday. Feels like Monday because Monday is technically a holiday. So this week, by the end of the week, we're going to hear about some of that. I just see battles. I see lots of skirmishes and battles in Afghanistan. And it's just like the way that the guides are showing it to me. It's like if you were in constantly hearing explosions. If you can imagine the trauma of that, it's awful. Constant explosions and gunfire. We don't know why the world has all this darkness. All we can do is take a stand for the light and help if we can. I have mentioned more than once the Center for Innocent Victims in Conflict. If you type that in, because you don't want Honda Civic to come up, because it's Civic. Center for Innocent Victims in Conflict, that money, it provides aid to the Afghan people. So please check that out. And while I'm thinking about it, I am considering on Saturday doing a prayer meeting in a Facebook Live private chat room. If you might be interested in a prayer meeting, about a half an hour or so, on Saturday afternoon, about around 3 o'clock Eastern time. AnnetteDion7@gmail.com is how to reach me, and we can put a little prayer meeting together for September 11th, this Saturday. Okay, so next thing in the news, let's see how DeSantis is doing. I had said a few weeks ago that I see lawsuits. We will go to Governor Abbot, who just signed into law these just far-reaching voter restrictions. He signed that into law. I see Merrick Garland not only putting the gavel down on this Handmaid's Tale abortion law, and Merrick Garland is going to step in. I'd said that a while ago too, on the voting rights restrictions. People will vote no matter what. People will get out and vote. The only thing that we are needing to be concerned about and to take action about is how to take away the part of it that says that the Republicans can change the vote if a Democrat wins. That's not a democracy, right? You know, I feel like I'm always stating the obvious. It's not democracy, everybody. We're going to DeSantis. I still see him being arrested. He's not the only one that's going to be arrested. DeSantis he did something really bad and really illegal. So this is aside from the mask thing, like fining schools and taking away their income and, you know, not getting the superintendents paid or taking state money away from the districts. This isn't even that. This is something illicit that happened. It feels like it's monetary. The guys are saying scheme. It was some kind of a money scheme, maybe money laundering or something, that DeSantis was involved in. They're showing me like mafia, like guys in black suits kind of stuff. DeSantis is in trouble. Let's take a look, shall we? One thing about the news, there's too much news and there's too much bad news, but man, there is never a dull moment, that's for sure. I would like for there to be more dull moments, but oh well, we just have to go with it. Okay. The Ten of Cups indicates that DeSantis will be feeling like, oh man, maybe I shouldn't have done that. I don't think these guys have any, ability to see the consequences of their actions, to go, to think through. Like, if I do this, then that will happen. If I do this, then I'm at risk for that. That doesn't, and I said that about 45 too. Somebody has a strong case against DeSantis. Strong evidence. The public doesn't know about it yet. The news hasn't picked up this yet. Maybe a little sentence here and there, but it does involve money. And it involves money that should have gone somewhere else. It reminds me of the charity scheme of the Trump organization. It reminds me of that, where they solicited money, they got money, and that inauguration, 45's inauguration, the illegitimate one. If you like him, you hate this channel, and love and light to you. If you like 45, you don't like this channel. Just want to say that. You might want to go somewhere where they agree with your opinions. But anyway, so the DeSantis situation is he stole money. And I was bringing up 45, and they had a charity, and the money didn't go to the charity. They siphoned the money off. So people thought they were given to a charity, and they actually stole the money. I won't go into details. I don't know how much. I don't know amounts, but it's bad. Okay, let's see what else. The new moon, I almost said full moon. No, it's a new moon, and the sign of Virgo hit yesterday. A lot of energy to that new moon. And I really like the coolness in the air today. It's no longer humid here in Massachusetts. And it kind of makes you feel like, oh, it's a fresh start. Kind of like that, those days when we went back to school, it's a fresh start. Back then it was a lot colder this time of year. Okay, so DeSantis is in trouble. I had said that I see a lot of children dying, unfortunately. Maybe we can pray that away. But the guides are showing me it's almost like, and throughout history when there's been genocide and horrible things like that, it's almost going to be in that category. It's willfully preventing people from being safe, including children. And Abbott's in the same category. Preventing people from being safe, forbidding them, making it forbidden for them to be safe and to keep others safe. That's like in the area of willfully assisting in people dying. It's right out there in the open. You don't even have to go undercover. It's right out there in the open. So Abbott and this, let's do this first before we talk about Abbott and the COVID thing. Boy, I'm really, my heart goes out to all the people that live in Texas. It can't be easy. Between COVID and this abortion thing and the voting restrictions, and I saw a picture of Abbott today, and it was demonic, I'm telling you, just demonic. The look on his face when he was signing that thing, the voting restrictions, I mean. I get mad just thinking about it. Okay, so, let's see what the guides have to say. Ooh, people are angry at Abbott. Angrier and angrier. I might have gotten this card the other day about him. People are very angry at Governor Abbott. He has a lot of daggers. He's got a lot of psychic daggers coming in his direction. And I said the other day, hell hath no fury like a woman scorned. This, let's just talk about briefly the abortion ban. The guides are saying that's going to come back and bite him on the butt. And he will be sorry that he ever pushed that bill through, the abortion ban. He'll be sorry. And we all know that it was a long time coming. They've been chipping away at it and chipping away at women's rights and chipping away at women's rights for decades now. And they feel like they got their way, but they did not. This is the Four of Swords, which is indicating this is going to be really hard to talk his way out of. And there are 4 issues here. So we know voting restrictions and the abortion situation and the COVID situation. There's one more. And he's going to try to sort of negotiate his way out of things and change things up a little bit. He's going to try to change the voting restrictions a little bit, because I do see the DOJ coming at him about this voting restrictions bill. But I see that he's frozen in place. He cannot escape. And the Chariot is, we're going to see something happening really quickly on the voting restriction bill that Abbot just signed. This is like the Chariot's like, not so fast, buddy. Not so fast. Not so fast. Hold on a minute. It's almost like Merrick Garland was busy with something else, and then he went, whoa, that needs more immediate attention than this other thing. And the other thing being, they are working on the January 6th insurrection investigation. But I feel like Merrick Garland is going to, even though we haven't heard from him yet, we will. I feel like we will. He will put the gavel down. That's what I see. He's going to put the gavel down. Like putting the hammer down. I'm getting it big. I really feel like Governor Abbott is getting a big hit. Like he's going to really be like a criminal in the middle of a robbery, right? In the middle of it, when he's just taking as much as he can take and taking as much as he can take really quickly, because that's what thieves do, right? Any kind of thief, they try to do it quickly, and just like the abortion thing, you know, in the dark of the night, they sign this thing into law. This is like the thief that gets caught in the middle of the heist. That's the energy I feel around Abbott right now. He thinks he's free and clear. He thinks, oh yeah, I can do whatever I want. I can do whatever I want. No one's going to stop me. I got this all. I figured this all out. I figured out how to fly under the radar and to kind of go in between things and to get my way. It's not just his way. It's dark money's way. And it's people posing as Christians. There's a real Christian and there's a fake Christian. And the fake Christian is backed by the dark money. I mean what was involved in this taking away women's rights to choose what happens with their bodies. What a violation. Oh my goodness. So yeah, in a nutshell, it hasn't even begun. What the repercussions of what Governor Abbott is doing, and I hate to even call him a governor because he's not a public servant unless you count serving up death. There's so much coming for him. There's so much. And the guys are showing me volumes and volumes of crimes. Volumes, like big book volumes. Lots and lots of crimes. Okay, let's move on to what's going to happen with this abortion law. This anti-abortion law. Those the bounties on women's heads that won't even take effect. That won't even take effect. Haha. So this is about the abortion law that Governor Abbott signed, and the Supreme Court did not intervene. Taking away women's rights. Completely unconstitutional. This is the fallout. This is the aftermath of that. This is the women. He was a damn fool. He was a damn fool to do this. Because you know what? The guides are showing me. Because it just opened up a can of worms for him. To get this ban on abortions and taking away women's rights, to get this passed, opened up a can of worms. It's almost like pointing to the criminal to see what other crimes he's committed. So he and DeSantis are both kind of in the same boat. The guys just said January 6th too. They both knew about it. DeSantis and Abbott knew about it. They're showing me a couple of phone calls about it. I'd be curious to know where they actually were that day. Those two governors. I'd be curious to know where they were and what they were doing on January 6th. I don't feel like they were in Washington, but I do feel like the guys are showing me they had a few phone calls where they were in the know about what was going to happen on January 6th. I cannot even believe, speaking of January 6th, that the Republicans are saying the 45 wasn't in on it. I watched it that morning. I watched that with a very, 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 very bad feeling when he was going, we're going to walk down to the Capitol and I'm going to walk with you. He didn't. He didn't walk with them. So, for the third thing, let's go to January 6th. Oh, wait. Before we go to January 6th, I want a little more information about this abortion ban. So let's ask if it's going to hold up. I said I don't see it being upheld, like in effect, the abortion ban, I don't see it being in effect for longer than 2 weeks. The more women and young girls that are left out in the cold and destitute because of this is gonna get, I see a lot of elders, like, the older generations rushing in and helping. The lover card, people are going to rally for women's rights, and there is a rally, there is a protest in all 50 states, I believe, on October 2nd. So check if you want to, we all should be out in the streets to fight for women's rights. October 2nd. Check your local listings. The women will win. The women will win. The women will win. The Queen of Cups is coming up. There's a really, really strong case. Well, one being it's not constitutional to take away women's rights, but there's a really, really strong case to knock this down, to knock this law down. They're pushing it to see how far they can go. These evil people that manage to get themselves in positions of power. Why are the guys telling me something about Ted Cruz right now? I don't know. I haven't talked about him in a long time. Mr. Let's go to Club Med during a crisis in Texas. Where do they find these guys? I don't know. I really don't know how they get elected, except that people that don't have everyone's best interests at heart. Unfortunately, they tend to be more assertive and more aggressive, and they went out and they voted. That's how people like Cruz and Abbott and DeSantis got into office, was people weren't paying attention. The guides are showing me people were looking the other way and they didn't go vote. That's how they got there. Not to mention some dark money and cheating, so there you go. Let's look at the January 6th Commission. I see McCarthy stuttering, like Jim Jordan stutters. I see McCarthy stuttering. I see Kevin McCarthy getting caught in a lot of lies. So I want to ask about the threat that he made to tech companies. I mean, I don't know why. It makes me laugh. Do you know how much money and how many lawyers these corporations have? And little Kevin McCarthy, this is like, a little munchkin and a giant, many giants, and a little munchkin thinking he can fight them. That's what it looks like to me. The tech giants are gonna come right. I'm getting a lot of like hammer coming down energy today. So the hammer is gonna come down from the tech companies onto Kevin McCarthy. What the hell? Jeez. Justice. I see justice. They're just gonna, smack them down. Kevin McCarthy is gonna get the smackdown from the justice system. And the funny thing is, it's like, this is a really strong illustration that corporations are the most powerful entity, as like it or not. they're the most powerful entity out there is corporations, right? That's where the billions and billions of dollars are, just, you know, bordering trillions of dollars. And little Kevin McCarthy, the little midget, thinks he's going to beat these tech companies, and he's going to like bully them and tell them, you better not give the January 6th Commission what they ask for. And all they asked for was to have them save the records. The tech companies, the media companies, to you know, telephone and stuff, or cell phone. So the tech companies that Kevin McCarthy is threatening, the little munchkin, will side with the people. I wouldn't worry about Mr. McCarthy. And this is a female in a position of power. It looks like a judge who's going to make the ultimate call. That is baseless. What Kevin McCarthy is threatening of those tech companies is absolutely baseless. Can you say desperate? Desperate. Shall we look at weather? Pray for this infrastructure bill to pass, because in that infrastructure bill is funding for bad weather events. And we've got a lot of bad weather events coming. That doesn't take a psychic to tell you that. After what we saw on September 1st, the day I was supposed to start my class on tarot and I had to cancel. That was a good call. I'll tell you more about that at the end. We're still taking people to sign up for tarot at the castle. Weather. The one with the hurricane that starts with a J, I don't really see that having an impact except a lot of wind. Ida will be retired. The name Ida will be retired. Please give to organizations that feed people that are hungry and homeless. There's one called Second Harvest Food Bank, Church of Spirituality, which I'm the minister of. It's an online church. We gave a couple $100 to the second, we're a small church, a small online church. We gave $200 to Second Harvest Food Bank in South Louisiana. So I'm just mentioning that because these people need our help. They really need our help. I don't know if anybody can imagine being without air conditioning when it's 100 degrees. I finally turned mine off today because it's not so humid, but it's 100 degrees and humid in Louisiana. So weather. Oh, it looks like we'll get our infrastructure bill. Actually, the blessing in disguise, if you can call it that, is that Joe Biden is making a very strong case. This is not a political matter. This is about survival. This is about life and death. Biden, nobody can really argue with the infrastructure bill passing because it has funds to repair the damage from global climate change. And, you know, he's going to overcome the obstacles to the infrastructure bill. So those Republicans can whine all they want, but we're going to get our infrastructure bill. And I was asking about weather, but that's what came up. So let's ask about future weather events. But, you know, that preempted what I was actually asking about, what weather events are coming, because we will have the funding to deal with it. Now, we do need to curb emissions. I'm telling you, when you fill up your car with gas, do you ever think, this fossil fuel is from dinosaurs, what are we doing? The kinds of technology we have nowadays, and we're still filling up our cars with gas, that's a lot of buying power in terms of pulling the wool over people's eyes and making them thinking they need oil and gas forever and ever and ever, and there's nothing else that will work. We've been scammed and conned. Anyway, there's more damage coming from bad weather. I see 3 more major hurricanes that are majorly damaging. Please pray. The 3 of Cups, it's going to bring us all together. The 6 of Wands, we're going to start lining it up. We're going to start lining up the solutions. So don't worry. Just participate. We'll get there. Okay, so I need to get back to work. So it's AnnetteDion7@gmail.com if you would like to book a private tarot card reading. It's done just like this. sitting in my chair, same background. Anyway, if you'd like to sign up for tarot at the castle, the registration goes on until the first day of class, which is September 15th now. HammondCastle.org, HAMMOND castle.org is where you register for the online service. To take the class, it's 8 sessions for 2 hours every Wednesday, 5 to 7 Eastern Standard Time. It will be recorded so you can watch the classes later. And you will be certified to be a tarot card reader when we finish on November 3rd. That's it. Have a great evening, and I'll come back in a couple days. And namaste. Be well. Please share and subscribe.